Welcome to Inspirations, a podcast where we discuss everything relevant to the Christian life. Now here is your host, Jay Spurlock.
Okay, so let's talk kingdom life. Let's talk kingdom. We're going to discuss the difference between thy and my kingdom. I want to start today first with us reading the Lord's Prayer. The Lord's Prayer is found in two places in the New Testament, in the Gospels. The Gospel of Luke, chapter 11, and the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 6. I'm going to read from the Lord's Prayer from Matthew 6. It says, Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread, and forgive us of our debts, as we also have forgiven our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. So, I know many of you are like, oh, not this again, not the Lord's Prayer. Or maybe, you did enjoy it, whatever. But a lot of us are very familiar with it. Now, I'll start off with a story of my own from childhood. I will never forget my first really true encounter with the Lord's Prayer and my failure in that arena. But we were playing, I think it was middle school or high school baseball. And before the game, we were asked, the coach asked me, hey Jay, will you lead us in the Lord's Prayer? And I really have always kind of had a problem with public prayer, of being shy or whatever that is. I don't know. I don't blame it on Satan. But nevertheless, I continued to pray. And it went a little something like this, like, Lord, thank you for today. Thank you for allowing us to show up here and to do so in a healthy manner. Lord, I just pray that you allow us to be safe and we get very good umpiring, and the calls, they would be just and fair. And if it's your will, then I hope we win. And amen. Now, so this might be a point of trauma for me. Maybe this is why I still kind of struggle sometimes with fear of public prayer. But anyways, just a transparent moment. I grew up in the church, but I really never... when I heard the Lord's Prayer, I just thought it was, prayer, just a prayer. I never knew it was... This is going to sound really bad. It was in the Bible. No, forgive me. I was in middle school, okay? I was not in seminary or anything. I had a lot of other things on my mind. So, show me some grace. But nevertheless, I'll fast forward to about a month ago. I was listening to a recording of Richard Rohr. And it's something about, it can be lyrics. It can be a lot of things that you say 100 million times, or a song, or you read something and you've read it so many times, but then you go back and you reread it in a new perspective, or you hear it in a new light, or you hear it in a new way, and it changes for you, the way you see it. So Richard Rohr was talking, it was a quote, he is really stuck on me. He said, in order for thy kingdom to come, my kingdom must go. And I was like, oh, well, Richard, get your kingdom out of the way. And no, of course, I started thinking, I was like, well, oh, so I see what that's saying. In order, how many of us pray this prayer? How many of us pray to God every day, and literally, we're telling him his thy kingdom come, but we are still the kings of our kingdom, of what I call my kingdom. My kingdom, my interest, my desires, my possessions, my family, my friends, my job, my ministry, my car, my whatever it is, my house. It's my. So to me, I've really been, ever since I've heard this, I've been really focusing on living more in the thy kingdom than my kingdom. And it is so easy. It's a daily battle. And I do not get it right all the time. Much of the time. Let's just put it that way. But it's that focus. I think God asks us, to just focus on that. We're not going to get it right all the time. And our mind's going to drift. And we're going to get caught up in the heat of the day and become selfish and not really care about thy kingdom, but it's, focus more on my kingdom and getting what I need to get done in order for my kingdom to thrive and not thy kingdom. But there's not a bad thing in that. I mean, I'm not trying to condemn anybody, but I just want you to think about it. Do you live more in, do you live more in thy kingdom or my kingdom? And I think this is a powerful way of maybe reflecting every day and asking yourself this, because it's very important. And I wrote some other things down I want to talk about, but in order for a kingdom to be a kingdom, it must have a king or queen. Okay, so I get asked this a lot. How do I know I'm living in the kingdom? What's this kingdom life? Well, I say this. I said, you're living in a kingdom anytime there's a king or queen. Okay? And they're like, okay. Now, what I would go on part 2 of that question is, who is your king or queen? And if it's not Jesus, if Jesus is not Lord, then I have to ask you, then, this other, whatever it is, idol, how is that impacting your walk with Christ? We cannot serve two masters. We cannot serve two kings. We can serve we can live in two different worlds, but we're always pulled, and we're always not present, I feel like. So here's what I said, and this comes from also Richard Ward's statement he says, you're in the kingdom whenever God reigns. Whenever God is not reigning, then you're in my kingdom. Whenever God reigns, you're in thy kingdom. And to me, I started thinking, I'm like, well, God reigns all the time. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. But what it's saying is, who are you acknowledging as the king of your kingdom? Or what kingdom are you in? Who is your king? Who is your queen? So, I really want to encourage you. How do I know what kingdom I'm living in? And then it's just simply asking you, who's your king? Who's your queen? And if God is not reigning, then I have to say, more than likely, no, reigning meaning he gets the first of everything. He gets your desires do not matter compared to his. Now, we're gonna get it right all the time, but at the end of the day, like, it would be a great reflective exercise to look and see, which kingdom did I spend the most time in today? Because if you're living in the past and you're living maybe in the future, but you're not living in the now and here, then you're living in nowhere. So, I have to ask you, where are you living the majority of your life? Who are you serving? What is your goals? What are your motivations? What are your intentions? Are they more aligned with your kingdom or thy kingdom? Because at the end of the day, I would say no one is going to get it 100% right. But there should, if you call yourself a follower of Christ and you live in the kingdom where God reigns, then I would hope that you would have more in the column under thy kingdom than my kingdom. Thanks. Now the segment, check it out. I believe this will be one of my favorite segments each week. I want to do a check it out, something that has caught my eye or helped me in my walk with Jesus, or music, or a podcast, or a resource, or a book. So whatever that may be, whatever's on my heart at that time, I'm going to start sharing one per episode. And today I want to talk about the Bible app, the YouVersion app. So many of us have this app, but so many of us do not as well. People do not know that they have access. It's a free app. It's called the YouVersion Bible app, and you can download it on Android or iPhone. And I really encourage you to go get it. You can highlight, you can save bookmarks, you can it's practically your Bible on a phone, and you can download whatever version you please. And it's one of my favorite tools. I use it every day. It'll even send you a reminder, hey, you need to check in with Jesus. You need to read don't forget about us. So a notification to read your word and to get your daily bread. And also, one of the other cool things about it is it has a lot of free reading devotionals that will allow you to read previews of books. Also, a lot of other devotionals. You can pick the mood, you can pick the topic, you can pick whatever you wish, and you can have a devotional, and it's all free. And you can also invite others to read along with you each day, and then you can discuss it on the app as well. So it's like the Facebook, or it's Facebook of the Bible, I guess, in a way of just the social interaction allowed on it. It's just a powerful tool that, yes, many of us Christians know about, but maybe share it with a friend, that someone that may not know about it, and just see what God wants to do with that. And all it takes is just, hey, do you have the Bible app? And from there, I would say let God do the rest. Thanks. Now for the quest to reflect. I want to discuss how important it is anytime that you're given information, you listen to something, you have a conversation, an important conversation, you give feedback or have been given feedback of something. It is so important for you to reflect on that, to ask yourself questions. Maybe they're rhetorical. Maybe the question is the question. Maybe the question is a segue into more information or learning or deciphering what maybe God is saying in your life, or discern that. And so I want to really help you, hopefully each week, leave you with a question that will help you, what I will call the segment Quest for Reflect. Build reflection skills. And people that are often growing in a relationship or are successful in anything, they, at the end of the day or the beginning of the day or whenever they finish something, they always reflect on what information they have been given, information that they have given, and I want to help you with that. So here is your quest for reflect for this week. It is, during this week, each day, end your day with, which kingdom did you spend more time in today? Thy or my kingdom? And what does that mean? So this week, focus in. Decide, where did you spend? What got most of your attention? What got most of your time? Which kingdom? What did your motivations line up with? Your intentions? Your schedule? Was it with your kingdom, my kingdom, or thy kingdom? Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening to Inspirations. If you enjoyed today's episode, please head over to iTunes to rate, review, and leave a comment. And for more information, please visit inspirations.org.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.